Hey everyone, how are you doing? Well, that's enough small talk, so now it's time to get straight into testing the living daylights out of a new lens from the Korean Samyang Optics company. Today in the test lab, we have their new autofocus 85mm f1.8 PFE, a low-budget portrait lens that currently is just for Sony's mirrorless E-mount cameras, full frame or APS-C, although it might come later to other systems in the future, who knows. It's intended to be a lightweight lens that you can carry around with you easily while still being decently sharp for portrait shots, and at approximately $475 or about £349 here in the UK, it's not too pricey for a full-frame optic of this kind. I'd like to thank Samyang's UK distributor very much for loaning me this lens for testing, although as usual this is a totally independent review. We'll be checking out both its strengths and its weaknesses. 85mm is a short telephoto focal length, and a lens like this is designed for getting you out of focus backgrounds. On a full frame camera, when shooting at the bright maximum aperture of f1.8, you'll definitely be able to do that, leading to images with great subject isolation and an artistic feel. Everyone loves an 85mm f1.8, and a lens of this kind makes itself similarly useful on APS-C cameras as well, giving an even tighter angle of view. The lens itself, as you can see, is dead simple. It's made of plastic, and at 272 grams, it is indeed quite lightweight, but it actually feels like it's built solidly enough without any shakes or wobbles to it. Around the rear mount, we get a narrow weather sealing gasket and a USB-C port for future firmware updates. Then we get a little auto manual focus switch, always helpful, and that's followed by the plastic manual focus ring, which turns nice and smoothly. The focus motor responds to it being turned quite well, although it's not fast enough to do any sudden crashing focus pulls. As you can see here, the lens displays some pretty noticeable focus breathing, zooming in as you focus more closely to your subject, which can be annoying for video shooters. Here is the lens's autofocus in action. It works silently and accurately. When shooting in single shot autofocus mode, it runs just averagely quickly. Switch over to continuous autofocus mode though, and it works a little quicker. The lens's filter thread size is 62mm wide, and it comes with a plastic lens hood. Overall, build quality here is perfectly fine. It's dead simple, and it's doing everything you could ask for from a lower budget lens. Alright, let's see about image quality then. We'll start by testing it on a full frame camera, the brutal 61MP Sony A7CR. In-camera corrections are turned on for this test. If you want full frame images zoomed into the 42MP ratio of my older reviews, by the way, for comparison purposes, then you can find a link to a special unlisted video in the description below. Straight from f1.8, image quality in the middle is very sharp with good contrast. If you stop down to f2.8 though, then sharpness and contrast become absolutely perfect here. Anyway, let's open back up to f1.8 and look over into the image corners. Okay, the good news is that image sharpness remains impressive across the entire image frame, but right in the very edges we do see a touch of softness and a little chromatic aberration. At f2.8 we see only a tiny little edge of extra brightness and contrast. It's at f4 that we get a more noticeable improvement right in those edges, and at f5.6 sharpness is truly excellent from corner to corner. The lens stays this sharp down to f11, where softness from diffraction is starting to creep in. Overall, it's a great performance there though, especially considering just how demanding a 61MP camera sensor truly is. Anyone with a 42 or 33MP camera will be delighted. Alright, let's switch the camera into its crop mode and see what the image quality will be like on a 26MP APS-C camera. Like before at f1.8, picture quality in the middle is very nice, but stop down to f2.8 if you want to see perfect sharpness and contrast there. Let's open back up to f1.8 and take a look in the image corners. Excellent! This is a textbook example of the APS-C sweet spot advantage in play, and further serves to demonstrate how well the mid-frame of the lens's image circle really is performing. Here's f2.8 and f4 for anyone interested. Again, stop down to f11 and the lens begins to get a little softer due to diffraction. Still a fantastic performance there. This could be a great lens for anyone who shoots on APS-C, but is planning to upgrade to a full frame camera one day. Okay, let's turn off in-camera corrections and take a look at distortion and vignetting, which, as you can see here, are less impressive. Pincushion distortion is quite strong, as is vignetting at f1.8. Stop down to f2.8 or f4 to see those corners brighten up. Still, though, you'll want to make sure your images are getting corrected here. And now, close-up image quality. This lens can focus down to 80 centimeters from your subject, which is a tiny bit closer than usual for an 85mm lens. The bad news is that its close-up image quality is very soft at f1.8, as you can see. Surprisingly, at f2.8 there's only quite a small improvement in contrast. At f4 we get good contrast but mediocre sharpness. It's only at f5.6 that we see excellent close-up sharpness emerging. So if you are shooting close-up, stop down. The lens gives an average performance when shooting against bright lights, as you can see here. Flaring isn't too bad, but some broader glaring can be visible, so I do recommend using the lens's included hood whenever you can. Let's take a look at the quality of this lens's bokeh then. It's just averagely soft here. Deeply out of focus backgrounds look lovely, but bright points and specular highlights can get a little heavy, a little edgy. Finally, related to bokeh, let's take a look at longitudinal chromatic aberration. It's evident at f1.8 and at f2.8, at f4 it becomes quite low, and at f5.6 it's gone. Overall, the new Samyang AF 85mm f1.8 PFE is a very nice option for its low price. Its strongest point is its great sharpness and contrast, although if you're shooting close up, it's another story. Its build quality is fine, its bokeh soft enough. Overall, everything is present and correct here for a nicely made, good value for money, full frame portrait optic. So I am happy to say that it definitely does come recommended. Thanks for watching everyone. It's an amazing thing. I have tested so many of them at this point, but I don't think I'll ever get sick of trying new portrait lenses for full frame cameras. A couple of things. Firstly, be sure to check out the playlists on my main YouTube channel to find reviews of camera lenses for your system that you might find really helpful. Secondly, if you find yourself watching these reviews often and you'd like to play a part in keeping these sponsorship videos coming, then do check out my Patreon page or channel memberships. Supporters get all kinds of exclusive bonus content that I like to put together for them, as well as a warm, fuzzy feeling deep inside for helping to keep things trucking on here over in a test lab. Ciao for now, everyone.